What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another live stream on high altitude investing. Today is the 14th of 2026, February 14th of 2026, and I am super excited to be doing a live stream today to share my views on the markets, to talk about some of the stuff that's been happening. I've been trying to go live more frequently lately because I really feel like these live streams are the best way for me to help you guys make money in these markets. You guys can ask questions live. It's just like really the most optimal way for me to teach you guys is in these live streams, and it's really fun too, super fun, and you guys love them, so it's a win-win for everybody. See, make sure the link is posted there. Did it post on my X properly? Yes, it did. Cool. So yeah, let's talk about crypto. My favorite subject like ever. Pretty much, I mean, I'm kind of a nerd in a lot of ways, so I like a lot of different subjects, but crypto is up there for me for sure. So let's pull up Bitcoin here and take a look at the Bitcoin chart, which by the way looks really good. So I'm glad I stuck to my bullish convictions down here in the face of a lot of people telling me I was crazy, because Bitcoin is starting to show some strength in a very positive way, up off of these lows, and I think that we're going to continue to see that strength coming into the market here. So as you can see, we have a downward channel right here, downward pointing channel that we broke bullish out of, so that's a huge green light for Bitcoin. It's good to see a bullish break of this channel. Basically what that means is that this is very likely a double bottom formation. So this is our first low right here and our second low right here. And this is likely a double bottom formation. Now the double bottom pattern is confirmed upon a break above 72,000 per coin. So watch for a bullish break above 72,000, and that will really give us a lot of momentum on the upside for Bitcoin. That will confirm the double bottom pattern. So keep an eye on that $72,000 level to confirm the double bottom for Bitcoin. Now, of course, this is a potential double bottom. I'm super bullish, but of course you have to wait for the breakout before it's a confirmed double bottom pattern. I definitely think it's going to, but until that level is broken above, here's 72,000. It's just a potential double bottom formation. And even upon the breakout, all patterns are based on statistical probabilities. So even though the probability of a double bottom is very high, you still run the chance of breaking above the confirmation level and then the pattern failing. Now for me, I only bring that up to teach you guys about technical analysis, because as far as my opinion about the market goes, I'm super bullish. So don't take it as me talking about the fact that the double bottom isn't 100% guaranteed as a reason to be bearish. I'm very confident we will get a bullish break and a reversal here on Bitcoin, but just to teach you guys about trading patterns, you have to understand probabilities, because we actually did have a double bottom pattern up here that broke bullish, but it failed, right? We had our first low here, second low here. We broke above the neckline, looked like it was going to take off, but it rejected and failed, right? So sometimes you will get a double bottom that fails. Just so you guys know, most of the time it does not happen, but sometimes it will happen. Let's pull up the example here of a double bottom. Here's an example of a double bottom pattern right here. And if we look at the probability of the double bottom pattern, it is a 79% success rate. So the fact that this double bottom failed right here, not a big deal. You know, most of the time they do play out. This one was one of the very select few double bottoms that break above the neckline and end up not breaking bullish. Most of the time you do get a bullish breakout when you break above the neckline, like 79% of the time. So that's what's happening here with Bitcoin in terms of the patterns. It's looking really bullish, looking really good. See strength coming back into the market. People are still holding on to their bearish thesis. So a lot of people are still going to be calling for lower lows. A lot of people will say that this is just a relief rally. There's just a bounce right here. You're probably going to see a lot of people maintaining their bearish convictions until it's just clear as day breaking out, which is what happens every time. Everybody flips bearish at the bottom. They all think it's going to go lower, and it's not until it's breaking above its previous resistance level that everybody starts to flip bullish because they absolutely have to. And that's exactly what happened here when Bitcoin hit 50K, broke above resistance, and everybody switched bullish after a breakout. But the problem with that is that when you break above a previous resistance level, a lot of times you're not going to go that much higher before another pullback. So if you buy the breakout, for example, like right here, say you buy the breakout level, you might be in profit for a minute, but then when the market comes back down, a lot of times people will panic sell because they think it's going to go lower, and they end up in a loss, or they end up with break even or something like that. So you definitely have to buy the dip to be a successful trader. I don't believe in buying breakouts. I do believe, well, there's some cases where it's the right thing to do, but most of the time buying a breakout is not the effective trading strategy in these markets. The most effective trading strategy is to buy blood in the streets, just total fear, total people panic selling, everybody, the sky is falling, you know, especially if there's a bunch of negative news and you're like extreme fear on the fear and greed. That's a really good time to be buying in the market. So buying the dip is far more effective than buying breakouts. For the people that tried to buy this breakout, for example, on Bitcoin, when Bitcoin broke above 106,000 per coin, it rejected pretty quickly, barely went above its previous level. So breakout traders end up in a lot of losses. Unless they're using break-even stops, that can help a little bit if you're trading breakouts. But for the most part, it's just an ineffective strategy in the market to be a breakout trader. Hey, Dallin, what a great day. Well, thank you for tuning in. King J says, hey, Dallin, you've been on a roll lately. Can't say enough how much I appreciate the alpha. Well, thank you so much for tuning into these streams continuously, for showing your support to the channel. I genuinely appreciate it when you guys do that. It means a lot to me. Hex is the best. Yeah, there's definitely some bullish signals popping up on Hex right now. Arnold says, Dallin, what's up? Well, what is up, Arnold? Thank you for taking some time to tune into my live stream today. Professor K, hey, Dallin, good to see you, man. Look into other investments such as uranium and copper and precious metal miners. Good hold for 5 to 10 years. So I'm a big copper bull. Copper to me is like the next silver and gold in terms of what's happening to precious metals. You're seeing one pump, another one pump, and another one pump. And if you look at copper in the big picture here, copper really hasn't seen the run like silver or gold has seen, and it very likely will, because it's fundamentally a very, very useful precious metal. So we should see a run here coming in copper. And I agree, pretty much anything associated with the precious metals and just silver, gold, silver and gold companies, all of that type of stuff is very, very, very good long-term investments to be investing in those. Happy Valentine's Day. Is Tau breaking the downtrend finally? Let's check it out. Tau USD. Well, let's zoom in a little bit because that's a 20-day time frame, so it's harder to tell what's going on. So the first thing that I do see here with this coin is bullish divergence. You have a lower low in price, but the MACD made a higher low, and it's curling too. So if you zoom into the MACD here, you'll notice, because you can see bullish divergence, but until it starts to curl and push up through, it's kind of sketchy, like it's not confirmed. But you can see right here we have a bullish break above this downward trending resistance level right here. And we also have a bullish curl on the MACD, which is a big buy signal for Tau. That confirms this bullish divergence. So we're not only breaking out of downward trending resistance, but we're also breaking bullish based on bullish divergence, and it's crossing through, right? The blue line is crossing up through the orange line, which is a very strong buy signal here for Tau. So it looks pretty good. As far as the downtrend being broken above, technically, right, you want to look at downward trending resistance, which is right here. So technically, the downtrend is not broken above until you get a clear break above that downward trending resistance line. So it could go super bullish and break out right now at around $427 per Tau. Or it could take a little bit longer and go like this, and then maybe break out closer to $360. But this downward trending line here on the daily, zoomed out over a longer period of time, is the level that you want to be watching for a bullish break above that level to confirm the downtrend is broken and that we're in an uptrend here. But so here's the thing. Altcoins look really good. Like Bitcoin dominance just looks worse every day. Like even today it's rejecting. So Bitcoin dominance is not looking good. So that's really, really good for Tau. It's not like it's bad for Bitcoin. I know people think Bitcoin dominance going down is bad for Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance going down is not bad for Bitcoin at all. It's actually just tells you that Bitcoin's going to go to the moon, because when Bitcoin is really mooning, altcoins are mooning even harder. So Bitcoin dominance goes down, but Bitcoin is going parabolic during that phase. So Bitcoin dominance does look bearish. We broke bearish out of a rising wedge. We came down to support. We bounced a little bit, but now we're really set up to fall lower here on Bitcoin dominance like this. So as we continue to break down on Bitcoin dominance, you're going to see stuff like Tau. You're going to see stuff like just all of those total altcoins that have been waiting for a big pump, that are, totally been taking forever to pump. Those ones are set up for some big runs, some really big runs. Can you make analysis for Qubit and Zora, please? Sure. And thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Let's pull up Qubit here. So still, it's the same as the last time that you had me request, or that you requested me to do analysis on it. So you can see we have a lower low in price here, but a higher low on the MACD. So that's bullish divergence. It's a strong buy signal here. Do you see that higher low pattern forming on the MACD? We're still in a big triangle. We're still on major support of this lower trend line. So what we should see happen soon is a bullish break up towards the top of this trading range, this triangle. Because a trading range can be a triangle, it can be a horizontal consolidation pattern, it can be a whole bunch of different shapes and sizes, but a trading range is a trading range nonetheless. And you can see we're at the bottom of this trading range. So be looking for a move up towards the top of that trading range. That's what I'd be looking at with Cubic. Now let's pull up Zora here on Deck Screener. So we got all the data. Zora. There we go. Let's pull this thing up. So Zora looks really good too. Let's go to the full screen here. Same Elliott wave count, obviously, because we're in the big picture. So your Elliott waves aren't going to change a lot from the last time I did analysis. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, and C. Perfect ABC correction. Now if we drop down to the 4-hour time frame here, this actually looks really good. This big volume spike right here tells you that somebody did not want the price to go below this level. In other words, there was a lot of buy orders here. So you had a bunch of money come in. It bounced all the way up to 0.046, came all the way back down to support. And this is where we should start to see a curl in this direction. And as we start to curl in this direction, it'll probably do the same thing it did right here and pretty much just go parabolic, and it wouldn't even surprise me to see a bullish break above this resistance here when it starts to curl on the upside. So it looks really good, especially this big ABC correction. Love to see these corrections like this. You have no idea how many times on the bigger picture, like zoomed out like this, I've seen an ABC correction like this. and bought the bottom of that thing, and it's just been the biggest bullish turnaround ever. So for both of these coins in the big picture, for Cubic, I expect a breakout above our old all-time high. Let's remove all our drawing tools. Our old all-time high is up here at like 0.76. And if we can break above this downward trending resistance that I had drawn earlier, which is pretty likely considering all this bullish divergence, then we should see a clear break above the old all-time high, which will signal a new bull market for Cubic. For Zora, I also expect a break above the previous old all-time high. I love to see these ABC corrections like this. One of my favorite things. Here's Ethereum, for example. Ethereum did a very similar move, right? As you can see, here's Ethereum, here's Zora, same type of move, right? So I love to see those big ABC corrections. It's been something that's been very successful in the past to buy the dip in those ABC corrections and to make a lot of money on the bullish breakout up to a new all-time high, because those ABC corrections signify a big picture reversal is coming in the market when you see one of these things. And that's exactly what Zora is doing right here. Big ABC correction. Just like Ethereum in 2018, essentially. The same thing as Ethereum in 2018. So I do suspect a pretty big bullish move coming for Zora. This is officially my favorite YouTube channel. I have followed many great channels. Ivan on Tech, The Moon, Tone Vase, Crypto, just to name a few off the top of my head, and many more. Well, thank you, Scott. I appreciate the kind words, and those are some great YouTube channels that you watch. I don't watch a lot of other crypto people because I do analysis, and I have a firm belief in basically not letting my opinion be swayed by other people, just because there's so much like crowd psychology in the market. So I don't watch other channels, but part of that is to keep myself basically undefiled from all of the different perspectives out there, so I can come to you guys with the cleanest analysis based on my own assessment of technical analysis in the market. So I try really hard not to watch a lot of other people, but those are some people that I have watched in the past, and they do have great channels. Liberty or Death says, I'm really hoping SOL or SUI have a big bull market. Would you mind looking at Fibonacci levels and possible price targets? So Solana is one I'm really bullish on. Let's pull up Solana. Let's go to, I'm sure KuCoin has enough data for us to use it. Nope, it doesn't. So whenever you're doing Fibonacci targets, optimally, you want to go to the exchange that has the most historical data. For example, Binance has data going all the way back to 2020. So this is a good example because you can see this a lot more data. And the reason that's important is, first of all, I want to zoom in here a little bit here and talk about the bullish divergence you can see, because we do have a big bullish divergence here on Solana going all the way back to March of last year. Big bullish divergence forming here. And we are starting to cross bullish. But the reason we zoom out and find the most historical data is because if you're looking for targets, you have to try to find a market cycle to find your Fibonacci extensions properly. And in this case, you can see a perfect market cycle here with Solana. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And here's our ABC, wave A, B, and C, ABC correction. And then here's our 5-wave impulse again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And here's our ABC again, A, B, and C. Now the reason this wave isn't as deep as this wave right here, this bigger ABC, is because this is part of a bigger Elliott wave sequence that's forming. This was wave 1 and wave 2 right here of the big picture cycle, and wave 2 is typically very deep for the first Elliott wave. And this is wave 1 and 2 subwaves of wave 3. So it's not going to be as deep as that first second wave right there. And there is a big cup and handle too. Even though we went just a little bit lower right here, this is still a big cup and handle pattern for Solana. Huge cup and handle formed for this coin. The other thing too to be aware of is we have our Fibonacci extension. So going from our bottom to the top and back down, that's why you need all of the data, right? To be able to find the full cycle. And this will give you Fibonacci extensions. Now for wave 3, the minimum target is the 1618, but to be honest with you, I don't even trade this level very much with crypto because I've never seen a big picture altcoin cycle go any lower than the 2618. In fact, most of the time they go up to the 3618 in wave 3. Historically is what we've seen. So in the case of Solana, we should get a nice reversal off of these lows, big breakout of that cup and handle, and start to head up towards first our minimum target of 431, which is easily going to be broken above, and then our common target would be between the 2618 or 3618 level for Solana, which would be $691. But to be honest with you, that's wave 3 minimum target. So sometimes you'll even go up to like the 4618 before the top of the cycle. Basically what I'm telling you is it wouldn't surprise me to see Solana at $1,000 before it goes into another like 90% correction bear market like it did right here in 2021. That wouldn't surprise me at all to see it hit $1,000 per coin. And what was the other coin you wanted me to cover? Solana and let's see here. Solana and I don't know. I don't see your message. If I see it again, I'll cover that other coin for you. If you don't mind sharing what are your big bet convictions and plays for this bull market, appreciate everything you do, brother. So my biggest convictions for this bull market, one of my favorite coins is Theta. I'm big on Avacs. Like Avacs is a huge, just as far as coins that are easy to trade, easy to buy, that are going to give you a guaranteed big return on investment. Avacs is like a perfect example of that. This is such a good setup. I mean, just look at this, okay? This is actually pretty cool. Let's pull up Avacs over here, and let's pull up the NASDAQ during the internet bubble. So here's the NASDAQ right here during the internet bubble, and here's Avacs right here. Isn't that crazy? How that's the same exact chart. So imagine buying like internet bubble stocks right here at the bottom in 2008 before they got like mass adopted, right? Because during the internet bubble, there was a lot of excitement, a lot of stocks took off. A bunch of them died and never recovered because of the bubble pop, but a big percentage of them were real companies that did stick around, like Amazon and eBay, and even Microsoft and Apple are part of the internet bubble because of home computing, right? And so a lot of these coins did take off, or stocks did take off and fully recover. So imagine being able to buy like Apple or Amazon or whatever stock you're talking about at the bottom of 2008 before a big parabolic run happened. Well, that's exactly what it's like to buy Avacs. So Avacs is one of the coins that I have a lot of conviction that will see a big bullish run in a very significant way. Pretty much any coins that I talk about on my channel, and then of course some of the VIP stuff that I'm not going to share here publicly because it's VIP information. But to give you an idea of some of the calls that I've made, I called Zcash and XMR and silver and a whole bunch of stuff in the VIP area before it happened. So obviously I've got some VIP stuff that I try to keep away from the public, essentially. Crypto 7, what is up? Thank you for tuning in to today's live stream. And yeah, thanks for having me on your conference. It was a cool experience. Do you believe the bull run will extend until 2029, up only but slowly, or ends in 2027, which is fast and quick? That's an excellent question. So the bull run can last all the way up till 2029. That wouldn't surprise me at all to see that. And I know a lot of people hear that and they go, that's impossible. 4-year cycle, all this kind of stuff, you know. Fact of the matter is, crypto has a way bigger correlation to the Dow Jones than what people want to admit. A lot of people want crypto to be some independent thing that just runs on its own and isn't connected to anything else. But the stock market has a massive influence on crypto, like way bigger than what people care to admit. And the Dow Jones is set up to continue to rally from now until 2029. So let's pull up the comparison that I like to show people to give them an idea of what's coming on the Dow. So if you look right here, here's Bitcoin on the right, and here is the Dow Jones over here on the left. And actually, this Bitcoin cycle in 2017 is pretty much a perfect example of what's happening to the Dow Jones right now as we speak. So a couple key factors here. Here's the first sell-off pattern right here on Bitcoin. Here's the first sell-off pattern on the Dow Jones. Here is the midway cool-off right here. Here is the midway cool-off on Bitcoin. Here is another correction along the way up right here. And that's what we are seeing right here with the Dow Jones. So really the Dow Jones is moving into that final phase of the market. Basically when Bitcoin went from 10,000 per coin up to 20,000 right here. And that final, it's called a blow off top, that final run in a bull market. That's what the Dow Jones is headed into. And so crypto is actually set up to move into a bigger cycle, to deviate from the traditional 4-year cycle, and essentially follow the Dow Jones all the way up to its blow off top, which could be 70,000 or who knows, but I definitely think it could easily go up to 60, 70,000 up here before it tops out before 2029, and I think we will have a top on the Dow Jones at 2029, somewhere around there, based on a 100-year repeat of the Great Depression, because the Great Depression basically started, the bubble popped in 1929, right? So looks pretty good. A lot of similarities, and I definitely think we will have a big pump and then a big crash on the Dow Jones, and crypto will essentially follow the Dow during this mania phase of the bull market for the Dow. A lot of people aren't looking at this, but that's like the one thing people honestly should be looking at. It's pretty much the most important thing to be aware of with crypto. You know, people don't realize that every single crash that's happened in crypto has been correlated to a stock market crash, and every single pump that's happened in crypto has been correlated to a stock market pump. So as much as people want to see it otherwise than that, it's not true. This is the one thing that's basically guaranteed to make you a lot of money, is to understand the connection there. USDT to the moon. You know, I don't think that's going to happen, but sure. Thanks for tuning into today's live stream. Can you do PTGC on Pulse Chain? Sure, that's a very popular coin. You guys are constantly having me cover that. PTGC. Good old the Grays currency. So I'm going to delete all my drawing tools here. Last time I basically showed the Elliott wave count and the correction, because there's a pretty clear 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC. So that's a pretty clear market cycle here for this coin. But let's actually drop time frames to the 4-hour and take a look at what's happening here. Let's add the MACD here. Pull up the MACD. So the MACD has bullish divergence, right? We have bullish divergence going all the way back here. Lower lows in price, higher lows on the MACD. So that's bullish divergence here. So I do expect it to start to turn around based on that bullish divergence here on the 4-hour time frame. That's a big buy signal for PTGC. And if we go to the 3-day time frame, again, it's basically just a big market cycle with 5 waves up. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then our ABC correction down. A, B, and C. Perfect 5-wave impulse followed by an ABC correction. That looks really good. And I do expect us to turn around based on this Elliott wave count in this market cycle for PTGC. You keep doing what you're doing and how you're doing it. I love it. Well, thank you. Hello, what do you think about the volume growing on Mira USDT on MEXC? Let's check it out. I'm sure it looks good. Mira on MEXC. Well, maybe if we can find it. Oh, here we are. Okay, cool. Let's isolate just this coin only, so we're not looking at a bunch of other coins. So this actually, this could be a good thing. This could be a bad thing. So the problem about increasing volume at the bottom of a trend is sometimes that signals the bottom of the market, and sometimes that signals people just selling off because it's totally dead, like what happened to Rap Dog, unfortunately. But this is a big ABC correction nonetheless, so you do have a big A, B, and C wave right here. What I would be looking at with this coin is I'd basically be looking at to see if there's development and stuff. So let's see if there is. Mira connecting the world, blockchain technology. Like, you want to go to the fundamentals if it looks like it could be dead, you know. I do like to buy charts. I will say, I want to say this. I do like to buy charts that look like this, big ABC corrections that look totally dead like this. They can end up being really, really good buys at the bottom of these big corrections like this. But you do want to double check to make sure there's still development, right? Make sure there's still active developers, that the project is growing, that there's some type of fundamental basis to be buying it. For example, it looks like there's an active team. The website looks nice. We could even ask ChatGPT if there's been any recent developments on it, you know, basically to see, has there been any recent developments on Mira? Mira blockchain. Yeah, it looks like there is some development, but Bybit did delist it in 2025. Yeah, you just want to do as much research as you can to see if there's active development happening. Because sometimes, here's the thing, altcoins can die, right? Some altcoins die and never recover. Other altcoins look like they're totally dead, and then they fully recover. So the bottom of big corrections like this, you do want to do your research to make sure that there's still active development happening on that coin. Because if there isn't any, like if the dev team is totally given up on that project, you don't really want to be buying that kind of a project. It's not going to do well, you know. Like what happened to EOS, right? EOS had a big, I mean, there's still active development, but, you know, it didn't pump like Ethereum did here in 2021. So it just kept going down essentially. And I don't even know if there's active development on EOS anymore. Yes, there is still active development on EOS, which could be a good thing because now it looks like a big accumulation in the big picture. If you zoom out like this, right, it's a big accumulation similar to Bitcoin Cash. So Hexalot says, thank you for the great live stream, man. Much appreciated. Well, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Been really enjoying your live streams, especially as of late. You keep it honest and simple. This is just a midterm correction. Keep up the bull vibes. Party is only getting started. Well, thank you, and I agree 100%. that this was simply a correction on Bitcoin and really for crypto as a whole on the way up to a big bull market. That's basically all we've seen here is a correction along the way up. This is what happens. If you're in a big uptrend, you're going to have big corrections. I mean, look at the Dow Jones, okay? Let's pull up the Dow Jones over here on the right. It's helpful to go study cycles, to go take some time to research what's happened with other markets and their uptrends as they've established themselves and formed uptrends. You know, here's the Dow Jones, for example. Let's go to like the 15-day time frame. You can see the Dow Jones as it started forming its big picture uptrend after the Great Depression, which the Great Depression was right here on the Dow Jones, which actually is pretty similar to the 2017-2018 situation with crypto, right? Pretty similar in a lot of ways. But you can see the Dow Jones had plenty of large corrections along the way up. Like, look how big this was, you know? So to see a correction like this on Bitcoin, it's not a reason to become a bear. The trend is your friend. You want to let these big uptrends ride all the way up and keep rallying, because if you look right here, I mean, look how the Dow Jones just kept recovering from every single correction. And yeah, there was a lot of them. Some pretty scary days for the Dow Jones along the way up, right? So that's the same thing true for crypto. Crypto is starting a big bull market, similar to what happened to the Dow Jones after the Great Depression, where it started this big bull run in a very significant way, but not without some pretty scary days along the way up. Some pretty, bearish moves, pretty big corrections. And the same is true for crypto. So don't go selling all your crypto just because there's a correction inside of an already established uptrend. This uptrend is clearly established, so you don't want to fight it. You want to go with the trend. That's how you're going to make the most money. I'm bullish on Solana, Pulse Chain, and Solana. Well, yeah, they both look really good. I don't know if you tuned in earlier or if you just barely got here, but I basically I was basically showing my analysis on Solana and some of the things that I was looking at with Solana. It does look really good. It looks phenomenal. Let's pull up Solana here on KuCoin again. Actually, I think I had it on Binance, but it doesn't really matter. This is just a healthy correction along the way up. This is what markets do. They're going to have big pullbacks, big spooks, big, times where people are all flipping bearish. It's totally normal. But Solana looks really good. It looks amazing. Solana on Binance is the best one to use. Just SOL, I guess. Yeah, there we go. See how good this looks? Yeah, big correction in the short term, but this is a big cup and handle here. Massive cup and handle pattern. We have bullish divergence forming. It looks really good. And in fact, it's pretty similar to well, first of all, just a quick thing on market cycles. This right here was the Great Depression on the Dow Jones, okay? What happened to crypto in 2021? Actually pretty similar to what happened during the internet bubble, but also pretty similar to what happened during the Great Depression, Big, huge pullback here on the Dow, big pullback on Solana. So that's why I made a video about Solana down here, kind of telling people, hey, this is where you need to be picking up Solana down at these levels because of that big correction. So those market cycles are very, very powerful to be looking at, those cycles. But even Solana also kind of looks like Costco. If you pull up Costco, Wholesale Corporation, it's actually super cool how this market cycle right here on Costco is very similar to what happened to Solana. So when I first started looking at this, it was like right here, okay? So let's just isolate this right here. This is where I first started looking at it, is right here. Big rounded bottom. So I was like, wow, well, actually, I'd been making this comparison right here. When Solana was at the very bottom of the cycle, I started comparing Solana and Costco together like this. Very similar. Right, very, very similar. So that was when I first started comparing it. But I started to look at it again as we started to get up to our peak up here. And it's actually very similar. Now, I will say that Costco Wholesale Corporation went up a little bit higher here before it had its correction. But this correction right here on Solana, still very similar to this correction on Costco, you know? So corrections are going to happen in bull markets along the way up. It's just the nature of the market. And that's exactly what we saw here with Solana as a correction. And that's the same thing we saw here with Costco as well. But Solana and Costco, actually pretty similar charts in a lot of ways. So I do expect Solana to continue trending up. Not without corrections. You can see we even had another correction here on Costco as it started to break above its old all-time high, but then it really started to rally hard. So that could happen with Solana too. We could start to break out like this, correct again really hard, and then really start to rally. But markets are similar. They might not be exactly the same, but you will see similarities. So yeah, it's true that history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. You're going to get a very similar structure and pattern and type of emotion happening in the market. Chainlink. You know, I'm so glad you brought up Chainlink because I've been wanting to talk about Chainlink. So let's pull up old Chainlink here and zoom out. Chainlink looks really good. So just to teach you a little bit about cycles here, let's pull up Bitcoin here on, let's go to Bitcoin on Bitstamp is the best place to do this. If you look at Bitcoin right here on Bitstamp, and then you look at Chainlink right here on Coinbase, it's the same type of basically thing that happened here. So here's Bitcoin and here's Chainlink. So we have 5 waves up here. Wave 1, oops, let's delete that. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Same thing happened on Bitcoin. I'm not going to draw the 5-wave impulse because I'm on a bigger time frame, but on a smaller time frame, there is a 3 and a 4 wave right here. It's just hard to see when we're zoomed out like this. 5-wave impulse on Bitcoin as well, followed by an ABC correction on Chainlink here, and an ABC correction here on Bitcoin, right? Same type of thing. Then you start to break bullish out right here for Bitcoin, not without some corrections here. Start to break bullish on Chainlink, not without some corrections, but essentially it's at the same point in its cycle. So basically Chainlink is in the disbelief phase right here. This is disbelief, and Bitcoin was also in the disbelief phase right here on Bitcoin. Basically during this correction right here was in disbelief. So it's the same point in the cycle for Chainlink. So what I expect to have happen here is for this support level to hold, for us to make a higher low like this, and for the market to turn around and start to go like this. It's also pretty similar to Bitcoin in 2018 as well. So here's Bitcoin in 2018 and 2018, 2019, and 2020, and even 2017 as well. And you can see same thing, right? Big double bottom right here, big double bottom right here, market cycle right here, market cycle right here. It's really the same thing in the market. So I do expect a big parabolic run coming on Chainlink all the way up to, you guessed it, a new all-time high above our previous old all-time high right there. So something like this, right? Big pump up to a new all-time high, just like how Bitcoin broke above the old one. Do AVAX. You know, Jim, you just barely tuned in, I think, but I did cover AVAX already, but I'm happy to cover it one more time for you. Usually I tell people to rewatch the live stream, you know, but I'll cover it for you real fast. It's not a problem. So let's pull up IXIC here. This is your AVAX cheat sheet. So if you want to know what AVAX is going to do with like a super high degree of confidence, then look at this, okay? Here is, let's go to 20-day. Here is the NASDAQ on the right, and here is AVAX over here on the left. So this big pump and pullback on the NASDAQ, this was the internet bubble here. And then here was 2008. But this big pump, this big pump and this pullback right here was the internet bubble. And then here's 2008, right? So pretty clear. Here is the crypto bubble that happened in 2021. And here is our recent correction on AVAX. So this is the same thing, right? So buying AVAX right now is like buying the NASDAQ or your favorite internet stock at the bottom of 2008 before you had a full-blown recovery on the NASDAQ. So this is a typical ABC correction followed by a double bottom, followed by a full-blown recovery. So this is the disbelief phase right here on the NASDAQ. That's disbelief, and this is disbelief right here on AVAX. Very good looking opportunity here, and I do expect a full recovery in price all the way up to a new all-time high, just like what happened to the NASDAQ. So that's your cheat sheet. Like, take a screenshot of this, share it with your friends, tell everybody, because this is how you're going to be able to know what's coming for AVAX. Clear as day. Super, super easy to see. Hey, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Can you chart Honk on Solana? Sure. Pull up Honk over here. Honk on Solana. Is this the right one? This only has $900 in volume. That doesn't look right to me. Honk. Did you mean bonk? Isn't there a bonk? B-O-N-K? I know there's a bonk on Solana. Did you mean bonk or song or honk? It used to be a meme coin. It's Honk the Goose. Okay, let me see here. Honk the Goose. Honk the Goose. Okay, it is this one. So I will say this doesn't have very much volume, which is not a good sign. You would want to see like some volume coming in down here. Other than $900 worth of volume, that's not a very good sign. It does have a big community in terms of 19,000 people pressed the rocket ship button here on Deck Screener, so that's a lot of people. Let's look here. Yeah, there just isn't a lot of volume, which I don't like. There's only $900 in volume. Is it on other places? Honk. Crypto. It doesn't look like it's on any major exchanges. Yeah, I just wish there was more volume down here. There really isn't a lot. In terms of the cycle, we're at that point where if it's going to turn around, it's going to turn around. This is fully retraced. We're at the bottom of this big drop right here from our peak up here. Like, this is exactly where a reversal should happen. But I would want to see more volume coming in. So basically what I'd be looking at is if we do get a double bottom here, like if price starts to turn around and break up through resistance, then I'd say that's pretty bullish, but I'd want to see volume come in too, like a few $1,000s or more in trading volume, because otherwise this is just totally dead. It's not good to see low volume like that. You want to see, it's not like it's actually dead. It could turn around. I'm not saying it is dead, but you have to have volume to start a bull market. So we'd want to see volume coming in at a bullish reversal down here. It wouldn't be my first go-to, basically, until we see volume come in on it. Thanks. I'm long-term holder on AVAX. Just curious as your view. Thanks again. Yeah, it's super bullish. I would say it's one of those guaranteed plays that you could put like $10,000 in or more If you'd say, I have people come to me with pretty big portfolios, some people with millions, some people with like 250,000. People will come to me with these really big portfolios and do one-on-one coaching with me or ask me where they should put their money. If somebody was to come to me like today, if I got a new one-on-one customer, for example, right? And they told me, well, I got $250,000. Where should I put money into? Avac would be one of the first coins I would tell them to put money into, and I would tell them to allocate a large percentage of their portfolio into it. What is your plan to do with your crypto gains? For example, will you put it in DeFi, interest, stocks, property, keep riding crypto cycles? That is an awesome question. So there's a couple things I'm going to be doing. First of all, I'm going to be buying real estate. Even though real estate will crash really hard, like the way that I view the stock market is the stock market is getting ready for a blow off top. So it's getting ready to pump really hard and then crash really hard. So I will, even though during a big crash in the world markets, real estate will go down super hard, cash isn't safe in my view. Cash can be like I will hold some cash, but I want to put it in stuff that I know for a fact is going to hold its value, because cash could easily see a deflation scenario where cash loses a lot of its value, similar to Germany. So I'm not really big on putting all of my money into cash. So real estate is something, even though the price will temporarily go down during a market crash, it's going to recover and it will go above its old all-time high. And real estate is in a big bubble. I think it will go into a bigger bubble before it crashes. So I would be buying kind of at a high for real estate, and I'm willing to accept that because ultimately it will fully recover. So real estate, gold and silver, I'll be steadily accumulating gold and silver. Just pretty much physical stuff. And the reason I want to go for physical stuff is because of the fact that if the stock market crashes really hard, we could see infrastructure issues. So even crypto could pull back during a world market correction. Like let's say we had another 2008 let's say in 2029 we had another crash like 2008, or we had another Great Depression, just for speculation purposes. I would want most of my money to be in physical things. Just because if there's infrastructure problems, like if the internet has problems, if it's not steady, if we have stuff like that happening, I wouldn't want all my money to be in crypto, and I really wouldn't want all my money to be in cash in case there's a deflationary scenario like what happened to Germany, where their currency basically became worthless. The thing that I see a lot of value for putting money into would be gold, silver, land, and just holding those things. I'm also I grew up in Utah, so I'm totally going to buy like a whole bunch of guns. I'm not like a doomsdayer, but I do want to be prepared, have guns and food storage and all kinds of stuff like that, just to be safe. But yeah, I see real estate as being something, even if the value of it on paper goes down, like real estate is valuable to have. Like having a lot of land, super, super smart to have. It's going to recover. It will break above its old all-time high given enough time, no matter what. You can bank on it. Land is going to break above its old all-time high at some point. Even if it was to do this, even if land is up here and I buy a bunch of land and the price of land goes like this, I really don't care, because I'm 100% confident that the price of land will go back up to a new all-time high eventually. So let's say I make $10 million in crypto, okay? I want to put a lot of that profits into land and silver and stuff too, silver and gold. Just because I know it will recover, even if it pulls back. So that's my philosophy. And for me, crypto, I do believe in crypto over the long term. I do believe crypto will be the new form of currency that we will be using on an everyday basis, just like we use the dollar and Visa cards and stuff every day. But with that being said, I don't want to put like all of my money in crypto because I do see a big crash coming in the stock market. And if there's infrastructure issues, I don't want to hold all of my portfolio in crypto. Eventually, it will be the one thing that everybody uses. And we're starting to move into mass adoption for crypto. So crypto will pump very hard. Like it's going to pump really hard as the stock market pumps. But I'm definitely not going to keep all of my money in crypto. I'm not going to be like 100% in on crypto. But I do believe there will be a day where people pretty much don't use fiat money. Like crypto, it's like, you know how nobody sends a letter to each other really? But people used to send letters all the time. We just text or email each other. That's how I view fiat money. Like fiat money will still be around, but people will be using crypto for 90% of all of their transactions, and that is coming. Like that will be a thing that's happening. It's just a matter of time. But with that being said, holding all of my money in crypto during a stock market crash is also kind of scary. So if we have 2029 become like a 2008 or even like a Great Depression scenario, I don't want to have all my money in crypto during that. Love your answer on what you will do with your gains. I'm also looking at real estate and hoping to time a pullback. What about STRC, the preferred MicroStrategy stock that pays 11% interest to ride a downturn? STRC. Strategies, perpetual variable rates. This could be a good alternative to hold in a correction. This could be smart. This could be a smart hedge in a major correction for sure. That's actually a good idea. I hadn't thought about that. BTC and bullets, that's real freedom. Yeah, exactly, right? That's how I view it too. I love shooting guns, shotguns, especially going to shoot clay pigeons with my friends and stuff. That's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm a big believer in, having a bunch of guns around. Here's the thing, that when the Constitution of the United States of America was created, those men knew what they were doing. They were inspired by God, and they knew exactly what they were doing. And when they put freedom to bear arms, the right to bear arms in our Constitution, there's a reason for it. So for people that want to try to take that away, I'm sorry, but that is not the right thing to do. People need to be able to have. Here's the thing, if you go to a country that doesn't have guns, only criminals have guns. In America, you can have a gun as a normal citizen. You don't have to be a criminal to own one. But people are going to have guns whether they're legal or not. Not into guns, but I like your live stream for the most part. Well, it's okay if you're not into guns, but fundamentally, people definitely need to have the right to bear arms. And I know that's crazy to say in a world where there's tons of school shootings and stuff, that people are always like, yeah, well, you have to take away the guns, There's all these school shootings and stuff. It's not as simple as just taking away guns. All right? There's other factors involved. It's not just because guns are legal that those types of things are happening. Velo and guns. Let's pull up Velo. I'll do some Velo analysis for you. Zoom in a little bit here. Let's take this chart off. So there's bullish divergence forming on Velo, going all the way back here. So we have 3 lows. 1, 2, 3. 3 lows. And 3 higher lows on the MACD. So 1, 2, 3. So that's bullish divergence going back all the way to the very beginning of 2025. So this is a huge bullish divergence for Velo. It's also in a big falling wedge, which is really good. We should see a move up towards the top of this wedge, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a break above the wedge. Just like that. Not to mention the fact that this is a leading diagonal. So let's go to the logarithmic scale. Let's remove all our drawing tools here. And you can see right here we have 5 waves up. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And an ABC correction here, A, B, and C. And I already know what you guys are saying. Wave 4 can't go below the top of wave 1. Well, you're absolutely right, except in the case of a leading diagonal Elliott wave. So let's pull up a leading diagonal here. And let's grab our example that I like to use, leading diagonal. In a leading diagonal Elliott wave, wave 4 can absolutely cross over the top of wave 1 inside of the rising wedge, right? So we have a rising wedge right here. And we have 5 waves inside of that rising wedge. Totally okay for wave 4 to overlap the top of wave 1 inside of this leading diagonal here. So that doesn't break any Elliott wave rules. And so this is actually wave 1 right here. And wave 2 right here. So wave 1 and wave 2. And basically what we're looking for here is a bullish impulse here for wave 3, like this. This will be the subwaves of wave 3 for Vevel. So that's a perfect setup here. Literally perfect. Thank you, brother. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. 100% agree with you on the founders and settlers. They were mental giants and informed Christians beyond most today and created this decentralized government. BTC is like the constitution for the world, decentralized. Yeah, definitely. They were extremely smart men. They were very, very intelligent, and they cared about the people. They were fed up with abuse and being taken advantage of and bad government systems and tyranny and all sorts of stuff, just tyrannical rule. And they founded America, and all of us are blessed for it. And it really is. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I'll put it that way. It's a great place to be, even with the corruption that we unfortunately see, because there's some of that that's crept its way in. But yeah, they were really smart guys. And I agree with you too that Bitcoin is basically like the US government of money. It's like by the people for the people. We don't know who created it. That's really the only difference. But crypto is like by the people for the people money, which is exactly what we need. Because when money is controlled, that's part of the reason that we have so much corruption in the United States, is because of control in the financial institutions. Let's see, 798 Welder, what is up, my friend? Thank you so much for tuning in. Do you see that $55 Theta target this year in 2026? For sure, we will go to $55 by the latest I could see is 2029. This year, I think we'll get closer to the previous old all-time high. But due to the fact that I see this market as being connected to the stock market, in other words, the stock market should pump until 2029. That's also partly why I believe Theta will continue pumping from now until 2029. And it will for sure hit, I see it for sure hitting $55 per coin before then. And it could even go higher. But I definitely see it pumping up towards $55 for sure by 2029. No problem. It's in a big channel here. You can see we have a big correction here. And we have a big ABC correction. A, B, and C like this. Perfect ABC correction inside of a channel where the bottom of that channel, so selling here would be like selling right here. You know, just a bad place to sell. We should start to move up towards the top of the channel here. Up towards $1.20 right here. Excuse me. And as we start to head up towards the top of this channel, I think we will continue to break out bullish here on Theta. Up towards a new all-time high. Now, when it gets above the old all-time high, I know it doesn't look like that far away on the logarithmic scale. Here's $55 right here. But usually on the logarithmic scale, you will get a break above the old all-time high, but it won't go that much higher before another bear market. For example, if you look at Cardano, let's pull up Cardano here. You can see that on the logarithmic scale, Cardano did break above the old all-time high. See? Here's Cardano's previous old all-time high. We did manage to get all the way back up above the old all-time high, but we had a bear market shortly after. So I do think Theta will break out up above the old all-time high on the log scale. But in terms of percentage gain, you know, from the old all-time high to a new all-time high, it's not near as big of a percentage gain as buying the bottom of a correction. That's why I always tell people buy the dip. Buy blood in the streets, buy fear, buy when it looks totally dead. Because the percentage the gain that you get from the bottom to the top is so much bigger than the percentage gain that you get just buying the breakout, you know. Because here's the thing, on the regular linear chart, that looks like a huge break above the old all-time high. But on the log scale, it barely breaks above the old all-time high. It barely does. And if you pull up Theta right here, let's pull up Theta. And let's switch to the, oops. Wow, what have I done? Oh, there we go. Let's switch to the logarithmic scale here on Theta as well. Theta looks pretty much exactly like Cardano. So let's pull up the 4-day time frame right here. You can see here's Theta on the right, here's Cardano on the left. So when Cardano crashed right here for one more big drop, that's exactly what Theta did right here. It's pretty much the same chart. So I do think Theta will break above the old all-time high, and I think that for sure, without a question in my mind, we will be up there, up towards $55 by 2029. It could happen faster, but I'm just trying to be realistic about how long it could take to get to back up above the old all-time high. So you can see a break above the old all-time high up towards $55 would not be that much higher than our previous old all-time high, and it would look very similar to what happened here on Cardano, as it broke up above, but not like crazy high. But the percentage gain from the bottom, the absolute bottom, to the absolute top is so big. That's why I tell people you got to buy the dip. You got to buy when it looks like this, right? When it looks like Cardano down here. Because if you wait, the percentage gain is so much smaller. You know, from here up to here is only 900%. But from the bottom up to the top, that was 15,000% gains on Cardano from the bottom to the top. So buy the dip. You know, it's so much better to buy that pure fear at the bottom of the cycle. Really enjoy your live streams. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate that. High Dallin XMR has recently undergone a sharp correction, but it will soon resume its bullish uptrend in the near future. Yes, it will. It will, for sure. Let's pull up XMR. Let's go to XMR on Bitfinex, and we'll isolate that chart. So you can see that correction. Not that big on the log scale. I know it looks bigger on the linear chart, but really we pretty much just pulled back to this liquidity zone right here, where all the liquidity is. So this is still a big cup and handle, huge cup and handle pattern on XMR. We broke bullish above the top of the handle. Yeah, we came back down a little bit, but the bullishness that's going to come as a result of that cup and handle is going to be astronomical, like just insane. Super, super bullish here for XMR. So I'm expecting some pretty exciting stuff coming for this coin in the big picture. And even in the short term too, because we pulled back a lot here in the short term. So this is a super good time to be buying our trend line right here and to be watching for another bullish break here on XMR. So thank you for bringing that one up because I'm very bullish on it. Hey, how about that $260 target by 2029 you had this summer? I think it's 100% possible still to go that high. So it's 100% possible, but it's looking more like the Ethereum fractal at this point than the Bitcoin fractal, which tells me that it's more likely that we head towards $55 per Theta. But it's still possible for it to rally like the Bitcoin fractal as well. But I'm just trying to be conservative with my targets, you know. Fact of the matter is, here's what I can tell you with 100% certainty. Theta is stupid undervalued right now. Buying right here is extremely smart. Whether it goes to $55 by 2029 or even by 2027 or whatever, or $260 by 2029, whatever it does, what you should be doing is buying as much as humanly possible down here and scaling as the price goes up. Because I'm very confident that it will break above its old all-time high and it will see a massive run. It's just hard to say whether, you know, it's going to go to 55 or higher or what price it's going to stop at. But if you buy down here and you scale out, you're going to do very well on Theta. Thanks for the TA. Well, yeah, thank you. Tam says, great to catch you live, Dallin. Learning so much from you. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Cool. Yeah, so one more thing I want to show before I go. I'm sure I missed some of the requests that you guys had in the chat because I can't do them all. But last but not least, let's pull up the total crypto market cap here and talk about what's happening with the total crypto market cap. So if you look at the total crypto market cap, it hasn't gone parabolic since 2021 or 2017. What does parabolic mean? Well, if you look up parabolic chart on Google Images, you'll see a picture of Bitcoin in 2017 because that's what parabolic looks like, is this big parabolic run where the price looks like a skateboard ramp. It's getting steeper and steeper and steeper. That's the definition of parabolic movement. And the total crypto market cap has not gone parabolic since 2017 right here or 2021. So why am I telling you this? Well, the total crypto market cap is actually behaving a lot more like it did right here in 2015 and 2016 before it went parabolic and actually went vertical. See this right here? Very similar to this right here. So we're still super sustainable here for the total crypto market cap. We're not going vertical. We're not going straight up like we did right here or like we did right here. We're actually very sustainable. Like this is extremely sustainable movement. Now I believe we're getting ready to head into a very unsustainable move, similar to right here or right here. But this is not parabolic. This is not overvalued. This is not unsustainable. All of the altcoins are at all-time lows, most of them. They're undervalued. Bitcoin is extremely undervalued since we dropped off at 126,000. The total crypto market cap is primed for a big parabolic run, a move like it saw in 2017 and a move like it saw in 2021. It's primed for that type of a move. So be ready for us to move from a very sustainable type of market into an unsustainable mania, just total parabolic kind of phase for crypto. That's what we're ready to go into here for the crypto markets. It's also helpful to compare it to Apple like I've been doing. And I know I normally do that with Bitcoin, but it's also helpful to do that with the total crypto market cap as well. So let's pull up the total crypto market cap here on the left and Apple over here on the right to show you what an uptrend looks like, what an established uptrend looks like. Here is the total crypto market cap versus Apple right here. So here's the parabolic movement that really went parabolic on Apple, went super vertical. Here's the total crypto market cap. So this move right here, this crash that happened on Apple, same type of thing that just happened on the total crypto market cap. Here's 2008, here's FTX right here, here's the internet bubble, here's the crypto bubble. So just keep an eye on this. We are set up for a big run on crypto as a whole. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's live stream. I love you. I appreciate you. If you enjoyed this, share it with your friends. Make sure you guys are buying the dip, accumulating as much as possible. Please ignore all of the people that are bearish. Okay? Just ignore them. They're not going to help you. They don't know what's coming. They're completely out of touch with reality. Selling crypto right now is the worst thing that you could do. The smart money, they're buying as much as possible, and they know what's coming, which is a big parabolic run in the big picture here, as well as the short term, because we're stupid undervalued in the short term right now as well. So be ready for big things coming for crypto, for all of your favorite altcoins. Mark my words, you guys will be glad for holding your crypto and buying more. Cool. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in future videos and in future live streams. And as always, stay profitable out there.